So it's been over a month since I last made an update on this entire Deshaun Watson situation. And honestly, when I first sat down to discuss any type of Deshaun Watson drama 4 months ago, it seemed like relatively innocent information in regards to a disgruntled NFL star being fed up with a poorly run organization and demanding a trade. And this is just a topic that I've covered over and over again ad nauseum. It happens with a lot of players each and every year, and although I felt like this was a special case because Deshaun Watson is a young up-and-coming star in the NFL, I could never have anticipated the turn it took. And well, it's been over a month now, and we finally got an update. Before we get to the content, I don't really sleep very well, guys. Each and every night I get like 3.5 hours of sleep because I'm up late pondering whether or not you guys are slapping the like button for the YouTube algorithm. My biggest fear is an individual watching these videos without liking them. So if you could leave a like on this video so I could sleep better at night, I'd greatly appreciate it. And in addition to that, we're giving away a pair of Apple AirPod Maxes to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. Now that we got all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So this all started relatively innocently. Like I was telling you guys before, Deshaun Watson was very disgruntled because the Houston Texans weren't involving him in personnel decisions. Even before that, Deshaun Watson was pissed off because the Houston Texans were making stupid decisions like trading DeAndre Hopkins, an all-pro wide receiver, for a washed running back like David Johnson. And it's just a series of mismanagement. The Laramie Tunsil trade factors in this as well. Yeah, Laramie Tunsil's a great left tackle, but they gave up multiple first-round picks and literally gave the Miami Dolphins a potential dynasty based off of the return they got from the Laramie Tunsil trade. And of course, there's the fact that they shipped off Jadeveon Clowney for next to nothing. Before what would go down this year, the Houston Texans would be absolutely terrible despite Deshaun Watson performing really well. I mean, I'm talking really well. This year he threw for over 4,800 yards, completed 70% of his passes, and also had 444 yards rushing. He also threw 33 touchdowns despite losing his number one target. But in the offseason, Deshaun Watson came out and said, listen guys, I'm clearly unhappy with the way things are going on in the Houston Texans organization. That coupled with the fact that I guess I'm going to draw a parallel here because this is what I've been seeing at least in other instances of disgruntled quarterbacks, but Deshaun Watson was technically the first person to come out and say this. He said that he's extremely unhappy with the organization because Cal McNair would come out and tell him that he would be involved in personnel decisions like helping the Texans pick their next general manager, potentially being involved in the head coaching search. And although I don't think this is one of those things where Deshaun Watson wanted to handpick the next guy, because after all, how much does Deshaun Watson know about NFL general managers? It's kind of like one of those things where if you have a friend that you know can't make it to a party, but you don't invite him to a party anyways, that friend is probably going to be a little offended because he was never invited, but you probably didn't invite him because you knew he wasn't going to show up, but that friend probably would have just liked to be invited just so he knew he was wanted. And I guess that was the situation here. And the reason why this is significant is this one request was made by multiple quarterbacks in the NFL, and this was the first time we've ever heard of something like this, because Russell Wilson would come out and echo this statement, saying that he wanted to be more involved in head coaching decisions and personnel decisions. He wanted a team built around him, not as run heavy. And then most recently, apparently, because the reporting about this situation was fairly sketchy, Aaron Rodgers has come out and said that he wanted to be involved in personnel decisions as well. And the reason why all three of these quarterbacks said something is, one, the Houston Texans, at least in Deshaun Watson's case, are notorious for wasting careers, but two, most of these quarterbacks just watched Tom Brady waltz into Tampa Bay in his early 40s and had a team built around him and had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers listen to each and everything he said and eventually win a Super Bowl. So from there, things would escalate a little bit. At what started as a very innocent request eventually turned into something that really pissed off Deshaun Watson because he felt slighted by the situation. The fact that the Texans did not inform Watson that they intended to hire Nick Caserio, and he had to find out about the hire on social media, contributed to Deshaun Watson posting "Some things never change" on his Twitter account. And then as time progressed forward, it became a foregone conclusion that the Houston Texans might trade Deshaun Watson. Now, at first, the Houston Texans came out and took a stand, saying that they're not going to trade Deshaun Watson, but their offseason moves are beginning to indicate otherwise, and it's really strange how they decided to handle this entire situation. Because if they really wanted to trade Deshaun Watson, the ideal time to do it, at least to get decent capital in return, would have been around the time of the NFL draft. The Miami Dolphins had multiple first-round picks. The New York Jets had multiple first-round picks. This was a fairly quarterback-heavy draft, at least in the first round. There were options for the Houston Texans to build a plan based off of moving on from Deshaun Watson, but they didn't end up trading him. And a part of the reason why could have been because of what came out about him next. Apparently, according to a lawyer by the name of Tony Busby, there were allegations in regards to Deshaun Watson. And to summarize at least what I know from it so far, without going into super detail and giving you a basic gist, Deshaun Watson got massages from a lot of different masseuses over the past year. Now, that in of itself, I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan. That's really sketchy to me. Like, if you are getting a massage and maybe you have a rotation of 2 different masseuses, that's fine. But apparently he got a massage from probably like 50 plus different masseuses over the COVID pandemic year. And apparently some of those masseuses weren't a huge fan of Deshaun Watson's behavior. And needless to say, if Deshaun Watson actually handled this situation with intellect, he would have known that there wouldn't be a happy ending to this situation, because a lawyer by the name of Tony Busby would come out and say that there are allegations against Deshaun Watson. And what happened next is, instead of hearing Deshaun Watson's name in a variety and a myriad of trade rumors, instead, we've begun to hear Deshaun Watson's name in, well, some not so pleasant rumors about him. So I'm here to give you an update on both the professional front in terms of Deshaun Watson's potential trade value and what teams are interested in him, which, believe me, teams are still interested in Deshaun Watson, and where he currently stands in regards to this entire lawsuit surrounding him. So a few days ago, there was a rumor that came out stating that Deshaun Watson is expected to settle with the masseuses that are making allegations.
Rich Eisen heard at the draft that Deshaun Watson is settling his cases and teams are interested in acquiring him.
And to that rumor, at least today, we got an update coming from Ian Rappaport's Twitter account, which is a statement from Rusty Hardin, who is Deshaun Watson's lawyer, stating that in a recent interview, Mr. Busby stated that a settlement is not happening. And we certainly agree that there are currently no settlement negotiations being conducted. While we have never approached Mr. Busby about a settlement, he has approached us on numerous occasions in the past about the possibility of a settlement. We have made clear all along that there would be no settlement unless the terms are made public and all participants are allowed to speak in their own defense at all times. We want none of the participants, the plaintiffs or Mr. Watson, muzzled by a statement or agreement. Mr. Busby does not feel the same. I'm a little bemused by Mr. Busby pronouncing piously that his clients are not going to settle and that they want their cases to play out in court. The fact that this whole thing started with his attempt to extort money and avoid court shows that irony is not dead. I guess it has just been raised to a new level. So here's where they stand. There is a standoff between Deshaun Watson's camp and Tony Busby's camp, which is the lawyer that is representing all these masseuses, where Deshaun Watson's camp is saying, we want these women that are making these allegations to come out and publicly say what happened. And Tony Busby's camp refuses to do that, which is very sketchy if you ask me. Chances are if he's not doing that, he has something to hide. Bear in mind, in Tony Busby's extremely humble Facebook post that he posted when he decided that he was going to pursue this lawsuit, he said that this isn't about money, it's about dignity and stopping behavior that should be stopped. now. But here's the thing. While Deshaun Watson waits and decides to take this to court, this may extend to the NFL season. So is he going to play during the NFL season is the next question. Well, according to the Houston Texans transactions in the offseason, they went ahead and signed Tyrod Taylor, who is a very capable veteran quarterback that, in my opinion, is a solid starter in the event that Deshaun Watson goes out. But they also drafted a developmental quarterback in the third round in Davis Mills. So the Houston Texans clearly have a contingency plan in play. As for who is the most likely team to pursue Deshaun Watson now, well, that team, as of now, is the Philadelphia Eagles, because they officially have 3 first-round picks in next year's NFL draft. Hopefully this case gets settled sooner rather than later, but at least from my perception of things, I'm starting to get an idea of what Deshaun Watson is going through, but maybe there's a part of the story that we are not seeing. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this entire thing. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.